from the poly people that I've interacted with, um, there is this like level of trust and of communication that I have not found in monogamous relationships, because there's all these cultural norms about, the way a relationship is supposed to look like. And
Yeah.
I feel like in a lot of monogamous relationships, people don't have as much clear communication about like each other's wants and needs, and like how they like what they want the relationship to look like, because they just go into this default mode of these are the norms, this is what we have to follow. But in a
So
lot
there are reasons for that. So like in my field of like health education, we learn about and we teach about sexual scripts.
Mhm.
Um, and there are these sexual scripts that have been, and like exactly what you're talking about, of like there's a default of the way it's going to work. There's an expectation of like, there's first date you do this, second date you do this, and third date you do this, and then like after you've been together for a year or two you get married, and then you have kids and you buy a house. And like these scripts have been set up because they're really comfortable for people, and they're really effective at at making it so that you can assimilate. So for most people these scripts work. um and there's like the major life scripts, and then there are like really small scripts too of like how to engage in sexual activity, like the script of um man chase, woman defend, like those kinds of things are scripted for heterosexual monogamous people. And to notice that polyam people are more communicative and have greater trust and things like that, it's because in engaging in a polyamorous dynamic, you have to write the script together because we don't have one. And you'll see like this comes in like a lot of different ways. Like I love talking about scripts. It comes in a lot of different ways because scripts are useful and we want them. In a way, like we love that polyam people are like really great at communication, really great at trust and things like that, and it's such hard work to have that dynamic. And it makes it so that people who are new to it are like so overwhelmed by this new dynamic. um so, and that's when you can also see it in, so like a script would be useful. And we have some scripts, some sample scripts through books like The Ethical Slut, or if you've ever seen Tikva Wolf does kimchi cuddles on Instagram. So she has been writing some really neat scripts, or like, but another way to say script is representation. When we see ourselves in media, when we see ourselves in books and TV shows, where we can adopt those scripts and use them in our own life, which is why like
Absolutely, yeah.
monogamy, that's why monogamy and heterosexuality is so prevalent, and so hard to break out of, and it's because we don't have these scripts for us, made
Yeah,
for
you
us.
don't you don't always know what's possible unless you see it happen.
Yeah. um, as like an aside, this is also one of the reasons why relationship abuse is so common among queer people, is because there aren't healthy scripts in media for queer people to see during adolescence. So that's why it's really important that we support our queer youth with like, and show them healthy relationship dynamics with people who look like them, because it's so hard to adopt heteronormative scripts and then make them queer, like healthy heteronormative scripts and then make them queer. It's better to just have queer healthy scripts for people to use. um
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up. That you know, as a trans person, um, I've felt like in, you know, the scripts that are the relationship scripts for cis het people are very gender based.
Yeah.
Very like there's a man, there's a woman, they each have their distinct different roles in this relationship. Uh, and as somebody who is like super queer, super like non-binary trans mask, you know, it is like I don't see myself in those scripts anywhere,
Right.
you know, and having yeah, I can't think of a single I can't think of a single representation in the media of a example of a healthy queer relationship that I
Have
can
you
see
seen
myself
Schitt's
in.
Creek?
No, I haven't.
You should watch Schitt's Creek.
Wonderful.
um, I definitely see you, and especially since like it's weird. I just had that same interaction that we just had, where I was like talking about how I'm like I can't come up with like a single healthy relationship, queer relationship in media, and somebody was like, "Oh, have you seen Schitt's Creek?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I have seen Schitt's Creek." But like then it's like that's the one. It's like, and it's two white gay men, and it's like okay, like that's
Yeah.
cool. I love that. We gotta have one. You gotta start with one. But
Start with that, branch out.
yeah.